What's up, everybody? This is Miko, the entrepreneur, and I am here with Moran. I just wanted to make sure I get the name right.
That's okay.
Um, so, look, you see the thumbnail. I need you right now, if you're watching right now, I don't care if it's one person, three people, four people, right now, press that thumbs up, leave me a comment, and put something in the chat. We are here to talk about how one fat frog stole our money, how we have a petition, another one, because actually, Justice, the other Facebook group, um, they have a petition. Actually, you know what? Let me look that up. I do apologize. I will look that up, but then we have two videos to show you. So, and like I said, if I have to keep replaying these videos each time, then that's what's going to happen. So I will show Timmy. Timmy, they came out with a petition. Remember, Mariah?
I'm sorry, I did not know they came up with the petition. I know somebody else
Justice
did.
for
I
one
can't
second.
remember
Yeah, I
the
think it
names,
was.
but
I think it's them.
okay.
I'll look it up.
I
But
thought it was Tanya, maybe. I might be wrong. I could look it up too.
okay.
Somebody else. I didn't think it had anything to do with Timmy and his wife, but it could.
Okay.
You know, and the
Oh
point is,
no. So if you can go ahead, and because each time people come to this channel or like see us live, it may be their first time. So I'll introduce myself second. If you can introduce yourself, tell people how much you paid for the trailer, the Facebook group that you have, and how you actually did the petition for us to sign, so we can go ahead and get things rolling.
yes, absolutely. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Maran Horsa, and I am one of the many victims of one fat frog. I actually, my dream was always owning a restaurant. And I and my business partner decide that food trailer would be the way to go. And that's when I came across One Fat Frog out in Orlando, Florida. Looked them up, talked to them for a long time before I decided to do business with them. And I paid them almost $40,000 and a lot more than that because, I don't have anything right now. I've made a trip to Florida to retrieve my food trailer because they told me my food trailer was done when it really did not even started. So yeah, that I became and I created the group page because I had a feeling they could not just do this to me and me only, but I never suspected that it was going to be about 700 victims right now. And God knows how many more that have not been counted, because there's some of them that have paid cash and that are still just, living their life thinking they're going to get a food trailer or a truck someday. That One Fat Frog has filed for bankruptcy and they don't even have that information yet. So this was my dream that One Fat Frog have stole from me. And about the petition, I know I don't want anybody else to experience this event. It's not just about money. It was my dream to have my own business. My kids, I have a growing kids that I wanted to work with me, and they took that part. They set me back by a lot of the time I will never get back, you know? And I think we have to sign the petition because we don't want anybody else to go through what we have gone through. The experience is like you cannot imagine. It's like somebody snatching your baby and then taking it away and holding it hostage. At the same time, saying like, well, you're gonna get it, and you know, like all the back and forth between One Fat Frog and I, it's like a really bad event that I can't get out of my head. I don't want people to go through this, and we need to sign the petition. And the petition is just a little bit, it's just a baby step right now. You know, it has not gone far, but it's a start. I know we want to change things, and we're researching because we're just a victim. We were not expecting to be a victim. We were not expecting to have to go through all this extra step that we are going through. We are not, I definitely did not expect to do all this investigation work about One Fat Frog. I did not expect to do all the fighting that I'm doing right now about One Fat Frog. All I wanted was a food trailer. And they took that away from us. So they took our dreams away from us. Now the petition will protect. Do you want me to go a little bit deeper of the petition?
I'm going to bring it up in a minute after I do the videos, and then you can talk about it then, because I have both of the petitions up.
Okay.
And it is, yeah, Timmy and his wife, they actually created one. I don't know if you signed that one, but I think
nope, I did not sign that one. But I am willing to sign anything that have to do with One Fat changing. We want to change things.
Yes.
We want to make sure nothing like this happened to people like us, small business dreamers. That's what I like to say. When I describe us, we were literally dreamers that got taken for a ride.
Oh, I agree. All right, so I'm Miko the entrepreneur. I am a entrepreneur, small business owner, and a content creator. And every time I think about it, I feel like I'm in a bad dream. And I try to be positive about being a small business owner in America, but um, and I'm not trying to discourage anyone. What I will say is, I had a ghost kitchen. I lived in Houston, and I had a ghost kitchen March 2020. And I wanted to, well, I worked in my detached garage for like maybe 8 to 9 months. And then I ended up moving to a food court in the West Oaks Mall in Houston. I was there probably like maybe 9 months. And I used to live in Orlando, and then I left, and then I wanted to come back. So I came back the end of December. Well, yeah, actually November of 2022. And I I remember watching One Fat Frog Facebook page and watching their YouTube, and I'm like, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna buy my trailer. And just I finally got back to Orlando. And within a week of so being back, I end up going to get finance for a food trailer because I was gonna grow my business. And make a long story short, I had to close my business. And sometimes it come across my mind that I want to start over and want to start, like, I want to be working in my business, making money. And I know, but people probably say, well, why you just didn't stay in Houston? You could have just stayed there. So it was meant for me to come here. It was meant for me to come here. I thought I was coming here to grow my business, but I believe in God and God had other plans. His plans were to expose these people and to get things changed. Now, I know that me and Moran and it was a few other people that stepped forward, but it's over 700 victims. And for the life of me, even though they've been threatened, saying, hey, if you speak about us, that we're going to do something to you and your family and all this other BS. My thing is, when will those people say enough is enough? They already took our money. They already took our livelihood. Half of us are homeless. Half of us don't have jobs. A lot of people, they don't know what they're going to do. They already did the worst to you. And then for you to not speak up because they threaten you, I mean, come on. Like, I don't know, but I can't control what other people do, but I'm going to speak up. Thank you, Moran, for speaking up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if we're the only 2 to 3, 4 people speaking up. We're going to continue to keep having these lives, and I guarantee you somebody's going to help us. Who? I don't know, but somebody's going to help us. But we're on a time tonight. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and show these videos that I have. I'm going to show the petition, and then we'll have maybe 10 or 15 minutes to talk about the petition. But if you're watching this on replay and you know someone who purchased a food truck or trailer from One Fat Frog, please, 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 please let them know. Because a lot of people probably thinking they waiting for their food trailer. A lot of people don't check their emails. They're probably really, no, seriously, really waiting for a phone call. And they don't even know they filed for bankruptcy. So I would check up on my item if I made a big purchase. But some people, it just blows my mind how literally they're probably like, okay, I'm gonna get my food trailer. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this move. I'm gonna do this. And you never called and checked on it because you're waiting for them to reach out to you. And all this time went past, and you're like, well, I never got a phone call or an email about my food trailer. And this company they're gone. But let me go ahead and play the first video. Give me a second. Okay. Let me add it. I'm gonna put it on solo. All right. Let me know if you can hear it.
That may be plaguing the
Hold on for a second.
Complaints are mounting against an Orlando company that claims to be the largest food truck manufacturer in the United States.
And consumers turned to Action 9 after
Can
they
you hear
paid
it?
One Fat Frog thousands and thousands of dollars, but claim the company has failed to deliver their food trailers as promised. Consumer investigator Jeff Deal confronted company leaders on potential issues that may be plaguing the company.
Hello, you're watching Cooking with Kendra.
Cooking is life for Kendra Brewster and her fiance Moyadeen Alou.
We always have friends over. We cook for them. Cooking was just, I don't know. I guess it's our love language.
Last year, when the couple decided to take their New Orleans Nigerian fusion cuisine to the community with a food trailer, they turned to One Fat Frog, an Orlando company that bills itself as the nation's largest food truck manufacturer.
The way they spoke to us, everything, the customer service, they just seemed amazing.
But after paying $40,000 and with an estimated build and delivery time of 16 weeks, Moyedin, now nearly a year later, believes they are anything but amazing.
So you paid $40,000 and you have no trailer.
No trailer, nothing.
And he's not the only one. We saw similar complaints online. And One Fat Frog has an F rating with the Better Business Bureau. And the company has been sued a dozen times in the past year with creditors wanting money or customers claiming they haven't received their mobile kitchens, including Michelle Costello.
I lost a whole year. And eventually I closed my business as of December 31st.
She expected her trailer in May and is still waiting. We went to One Fat Frog for answers.
This gentleman right here, Moyedin Alau, he said he paid $40,000. He was promised the trailer in July. He's 6 months later after the promised date. And
so let's go off camera and walk you around. We'll talk about him and everybody else.
Off camera, the company told us supply chain issues coming out of COVID continue to impact build times. And the estimated delivery dates in the contracts are just that, estimates. Operations manager Frank Connell also offered this apology.
I feel sorry. I feel sorry that we're not able to perform like we intended to do with everything that's happening with the economy, with the structure of getting the materials in.
Records show the company president, Connie Bacher, and her husband, former CEO Amin Hassanian, are getting a divorce. Frank Connell told us there are also money issues tied up in the legal battle and pointed the finger at Hassanian, claiming he misdirected company funds.
I would say it's having a slight impact, but it's not to the point where it's destroying us.
Hassanian told us over the phone that's not true. He never misdirected any money from the company. And remember this guy?
hey, Jeff Deal with Channel 9.
How you doing?
His name is Thomas Sadaka, the company director of compliance. He's a former statewide prosecutor and private attorney who was disbarred after he was accused of stealing more than $200,000 from a law firm in Orlando and for practicing law while under suspension. In 2018, Sadaka pleaded no contest to second-degree grand theft, and adjudication was withheld. He just got off probation in December, but no matter who's working there and what the financial conditions are like, Michelle Costello and Moyedin Alau just want their money back and to move on with their lives.
And not just me, they've killed the dreams of so many people.
Now, the company claims the misdirected money is the reason it can't offer any refunds. Thomas Sadaka told us his case came out of a civil dispute between law partners from about 10 years ago, and people shouldn't have any concerns about his involvement with the company. Reporting live in the studio, Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, so give me a second. Okay, so I'm gonna show the second video. Oh my gosh, every time I see that interview, I think that day I was so emotional. And there was more to be said, but you know how they have to, they can only have the interview so long. I think that I was so emotional. I was like,
Can I tell you this? The day you guys did that, there was about 7 to 8 victims in Orlando that we actually planned to be there, but we couldn't be part of that interview.
Really?
I was actually, okay, let me tell you this. I was in my hotel room, just got out of the shower, and I had the TV on and the news came on, and I was like, what? This cannot be. It was wild. It's very emotional. It makes me so, my emotion is like, even just watching those guys makes me sick.
Yeah. This is the other video. Give me a second.
At Toyota Orlando and Toyota Claremont, it's our payment reduction event. Reduce your payment with special low interest rates. Like this new 2025 Tundra Crew.
Do we have to actually see that? No. I think we do. Give me a second.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Fox 35 investigates a food truck fight. We've told you about how people have spent their life savings on food trucks that were never built by manufacturer One Fat Frog. Fox 35's Marie Edinger finally got the chance to speak face to face with the former CEO of that company, now under investigation by the FBI and Attorney General, trying to get answers after One Fat Frog filed for bankruptcy and left hundreds of families without their trucks and without their deposits of up to $50,000.
I got a tip that Amin Hassanian, the former CEO of One Fat Frog, was at a restaurant convention in Orlando heading a new company in the exact same industry.
I was looking for Amin. Is he here?
Oh, yeah, it's right there. That's when we were finally able to speak up for people who've been demanding answers.
700 families who put their life savings into this, into what was once your company, and now they're left, a few of them homeless.
And I really feel bad for these people. I wish I can offer any kind of help to them, but I am in the same position.
Fox 35 has been reporting on this situation for nearly a year. This is the first time we've spoken to the former CEO face to face.
I'm wondering how you wound up here and what's happening with people whose money was lost.
When One Fat Frog closed earlier this year, they owed $18 million. The bankruptcy trustee handling One Fat Frog's case believes $12 million associated with One Fat Frog was brought overseas. Hassanian told me he left the company in November 2022. When we asked about that, he said at that time,
Everything was good. We were doing amazing.
he says he doesn't know a thing about the bankruptcy or what led to it. In research from my previous reporting, Fox 35 has found documentation that shows a history of finance issues.
You did already have some problems with a couple of loans prior to 2022. By that point, there were already delays happening.
I was behind in 184 trailers, but with none of them was a year. There were no issue with banks or anything before I left.
There were, in fact, a lot of issues with banks and things before he left, and multiple year-long delays. In my research, I found dozens of filed lawsuits, some still pending with varying outcomes. Others have ongoing litigation.
People put the deposit down to pay for their trailer, the start of their trailer. But if they weren't being built, where does that money go?
I think you need to ask Connie about that.
Connie Bauer is Hassanian's ex-wife, who became the sole owner and shareholder of One Fat Frog after Hassanian left. She is cooperating with investigators. I've been reaching out to her since June, and she's repeatedly declined to interview, but has repeatedly pointed blame at Hassanian.
I am one of the victims of One Fat Frog. I lost the house, I lost the company, I lost everything more than anybody else.
Documents show Amex has filed 2 lawsuits against Hassanian for more than $1.25 million on credit cards he says were used on expenses from One Fat Frog. Hassanian is suing his ex-wife for those charges. And in the meantime, he's the agent for 2 new companies, Phoenix Food Trucks and Maverick Manufacturers, which makes pizza ovens and walk-in coolers.
Where did that money come from to open Phoenix?
I didn't take any money from One Fat Frog and open Phoenix Food Trucks with it. They absolutely has nothing to do with each other.
Hassanian got those companies licensed in January of 2023, 3 months after he left One Fat Frog. Court records show one of those companies, Maverick, was already getting sued by a company in North Carolina that August. Maverick and Phoenix are both named in lawsuits in Orange County from this past summer.
I can show bank statements. I'm willing to show everything. I don't have anything to hide.
I followed up, asking for those documents. Hassanian declined. The Attorney General's office told me their investigation into One Fat Frog is ongoing. The investigation is led by a division that handles laws relating to the Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act. A filing with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Middle District of Florida says litigation is expected to start this month. Marie Edinger, Fox 35 News.
And we are diving deeper now with Fox 35's Marie Ettinger. And Marie, I'm very curious about this confrontation at this convention. Kind of take us behind the curtain and what that was like, finally getting to speak with this man face to face, because you had done several stories on this before now.
So it was a little strange. One thing about it was that we're having this interaction, and there was this moment where he said, and you saw in that story, everything was fine while he was there, and he has no idea about the bankruptcy or what would have led to it, and everything was A+ in 2022 before he left. And I'm telling him, I know that isn't true, and I'm trying to detail and explain, there's all these court records like I showed in that story, and he was just kind of discounting it. And so that was one of the strange things. He was nice, he was friendly, he came right over, he didn't try to hide or avoid the interview. He seemed a little bit surprised. But he was at that particular convention representing his new company, Maverick. Somebody had seen Maverick and seen Amin Hassanian at the convention, and they let me know he was there. So I was able to get in touch with people leading the convention. That's how we got in order to talk with him. So he did come right over, and he provided answers to my questions. It's just that they weren't entirely truthful, it seems.
And this is a saga that still is not over.
No. So I am actually working on another story right now. What's crazy about this is there is actually a lot happening with One Fat Frog and with the court case. They are in court already at this point. They had their second a preliminary hearing earlier this week. And so it's this thing that's been building for years now. We first found out about it around a year ago. I think my first story aired in maybe February of this year, but this is something I've been tracking for around a year, and it's all culminating with now, essentially. So I was able to also talk with the bankruptcy attorney who I had spoken with for a previous story about what's happening now with the investigation and how things are playing out in court. And he says that there are a few things that are going to be moving the story along. He does actually also want me to mention, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there just so we don't have to wait around for it, the deadline to submit if you believe you were a victim of One Fat Frog, or if you paid for a food truck or food trailer that was never delivered to you. The deadline to submit for that claim has been extended to mid-January. So if you thought you missed that cutoff, you do still have time. And then I was also able to talk with some former employees of One Fat Frog. That'll be incorporated in the next story. I'm pretty excited about that as well. And then some more updates from the bankruptcy attorney.
So this has just been a long path for these victims. I think we've talked about it before, and still necessarily not much of a resolution in sight for them. The
last update in my previous reporting, we do have a change in numbers, but it's not a particularly happy one, is and I mean, that's the heartbreaker about all this, is all these people put down, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and they're, so far as we can tell, just not going to get that money back. The way things work with their contracts, or the majority of them, is that people would put down about half of the money, half of their total payment. That money was supposed to go to pay for the actual parts to build their food trucks or food trailers. And then throughout the process, and as the trailer's being completed, they start paying more. But that down payment is to pay for the trailer itself and the creation of it. One Fat Frog says they don't do refunds because of that, because you're paying for the materials that are going to be used to be making your actual trailer. It's how a lot of people were not able to file lawsuits when they wanted to, around about a year ago or throughout the past few years. And so all this money is just gone. It's just in some abyss. And in trying to get money back, the bankruptcy attorney had to wind up selling off One Fat Frog's remaining assets that they had in their facility. And instead of giving that money back to the customers who lost all their money, it's going to instead pay for litigation against the former owners. So Amin Hassanian, the former CEO, his ex-wife, Connie Bauer, the owner and then turned CEO of this company, would be pursuing litigation against them and any other potential bad actors to collect monies. All this is to say, rather than getting $50,000 back that people put down, rather than just getting a refund, they'll get somewhere, it looks like now, maybe 5 or 7%. That number originally was looking like 2%. So it's better than that, but barely.
Wow. Now that was the extended version. I haven't seen that. You're on mute.
Okay. Sorry, I have not seen that. That is good in a way, but in a lot of ways, it feels like a slap in the face. We're the victim. We shouldn't have to pay to litigate these people. You know what I'm saying? And where is the victim compensation? This happened right under the consumer protection. Why are they not taking accountability?
Like I said,
sorry,
like
go
I
ahead.
said, like I said plenty of times before, if this was 90% or 95% white victims, this would be a totally different story. But
Sadly.
because it's 90 to 95% minority, they just don't care.
And I think this is when we have to talk about bringing our lawsuit towards the state. I'm telling you, this is when I feel like the state did not just fail us, but now we have to pay. It makes no sense to me. It's just like, excuse my language, ass backwards, you know? Like it makes no sense. This is the exact time when I hear stuff like that is when I say, you know what? The state of Florida needs to also take accountability for what they allow these people to do to happen. And now the ex-husband is still going on. And you know what he said about losing, and he said he's lost more than anybody has. What a freaking slap in the face to those victims. To us. Like, I don't understand. You've lost your house. You've lost your marriage. You got 2 businesses that you're continuing with our money, and you think you lost more. This is just sickening, and the state of Florida just allows him to. So he could steal more money from people.
And that's what he's doing now.
That's what he's doing right now. The same thing. That's what I mean.
Under a different name.
And you know what? You know what? I hope if people are doing business with this guy now, with Maverick Manufacturing and Phoenix Food Truck and Trailer right now, and they become a victim, we could back up mob saying that the state of Florida have failed to protect you because they give this guy a license to operate, even though he is accused of stealing so many people's money.
Yep.
We're not stupid. God did not leave us ignorant, my godmother says. God did not leave us ignorant. We're not stupid. We're victims, but we're not stupid. They did this to us because the state of Florida allows them to.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and bring up their petition first. Let me see which one. Give me a second. All right. So this is the petition with Timmy and his wife. So if you're watching this on replay or if you're watching this live right now, go to change.org and type in investigate One Fat Frog for fraud and demand customer refunds. Right now, they're at 142 signatures. I signed with them. And actually, Timmy and his wife, if you were not here, if you just watching right now, I just showed the interview that I did with Jeff Deal. Timmy and his wife is in the first half of the interview, and I'm in the second half of the interview. So once this live ends, and if you just came on right now, just go back and rewatch it. But if you're watching this on replay, you'll see it. But they have a Facebook group called Justice Against One Fat Frog. And so right now they're at 142 signatures. We need more signatures so we can have change in Florida. So again, before I switch over to the other petition, go to change.org and type in investigate One Fat Frog for fraud and demand customer refunds. This is gonna pop up. This was Timmy White, him and his wife business, Z&Z Roots. And they have 142 signatures. Please sign. We need change in Florida. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let me do the other one. Give me a second. Okay. So, Moran, if you can go ahead and start discussing your petition.
Okay, well, mine is basically requiring a large corporation to carry insurance in case of bankruptcy, whether it is intentional or not, to prevent victims like us, to protect victims like us. It needs to be done. It's something that they should be required to carry, especially if they have a reputation like the ex-husband right now should be able to carry, like he would be high risk. You know what I'm saying? So basically, just to prevent from companies like One Fat Frog to do this to people like us, or anybody, really, anybody. It's a extra insurance that they would have to carry, so people like us are not left on the dust. People like us are not homeless. Then the insurance would kick in and pay whoever is not receiving their equipment or whatever, you know?
So this petition was started how many days ago? Did you start?
Mine, I started, well, I've been playing around with mine for a while. I think
I can't hear you.
I'm so sorry. I put it on mute. I'm not 100% sure when did I start it, but I've been playing around with this for a while. And I think 3-4 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Less than a week, let's just say that.
Okay. So right now we're at 14 signatures. I signed today. And I already signed Timmy's when he first started it. So we have to get those petitions signed. They are under investigation, but it just seems like it's taking so long for things to happen. Let me take this off. Give me a second. Oh my gosh. I just feel like I'm in a dream and I can't wake up. I can't. I don't know. Every time I think about it, I get angry and then I get sad. And then I think about the good times when I was a ghost kitchen and I was, a merchant on these gig apps and I was sending out my product to people. And then I think about how I went to the food court and I changed my whole menu and I met so many people and they came out to support me. And then I decided to come to Orlando to get a food trailer so I can take the next step of running my business to end up with nothing. And it's just, I'm so bitter about being a small business owner, not just Florida, but just in general, after this situation with One Fat Frog, because the state of Florida is allowing these people to get away with stealing. And I don't want to bring other companies into this, but it just seems like everybody's stealing. You got the gig app stealing, you got other people stealing, and I'm so freaking tired of it. It's like, why is it okay that these companies could steal from us and nothing happens? Seriously, it's like a slap on the wrist, and it's like, it's okay. I don't understand that.
We're going to change things. That's why it is very important to stay focused on our goals, and I want to tell you, I have those days. I am so angry, not just at One Fat Frog. I'm just so angry at the state of Florida allowing these people to do this to us, but change is coming. I want to encourage. It's discouraging sometimes because, you've worked so hard all your life and then somebody could just steal it. And the consumer protection is supposed to protect us, and they have not done that. They failed horribly. On your watch, one or two people might become dissatisfied and you will get complaint, but I believe they knew what was going on. I believe they allow them to do this to us, but we're gonna fight until the end. We're gonna give it all we got, and we don't care. We don't care. I personally do not care who threatens me. I don't care who wants to come at me. Some people think, they think they could steal my money and just basically turn around and say it's her fault. And they have other victims thinking that it's my fault why they didn't get their trailer. I don't know the way how people think, but One Fat Frog, and I honestly do believe, like what you said, God had a plan for us. I'm telling you, I spoke to many of the victims, and every one of us believe in God, and we believe in the purpose why we are here. We're sitting here right now talking about One Fat Frog, because if it wasn't for us, they would still continue to do this to other people. Timing is everything. Can you imagine if they did this 2 years into this, 3 years into this, how much money they would have stole, how many lives they would have destroyed? Not everybody is as strong as we are, and we are paid to do a job. I honestly, I went to Tennessee. My daughter was living in Tennessee, at the time when I was looking to purchase for a food truck, you know. And I actually went there and met these people. They actually operate it right there, very small. It's like I could have got me a trailer from right there. Took their contact information. They sent me their contract. I didn't have to pay nothing, you know. And the reason why I chose to go with One Fat Frog, I still have no idea, but trust in the process, you know, trust in the reasoning why it happened. It had to happen the way it had to happen. That is all done, over with. I don't want us to focus on why, but how we could change things right now. How we could make sure nobody else go through this. Because, you know, and then earlier you said why others people are not speaking. It's not important that they are not speaking. It's important we're up speaking. It only takes one or two people to change things. Look at history. You know, it's sad. Not the whole, you know, not the whole town came out to protest or whatever. It took one person to get out. You know, we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to make sure we're going to demand. We're going to demand justice, because one fat frog thinks they're done and they're walking clear. No, we're not just going to go for One Fat Frog. After this bankruptcy case is over, we're going after the state of Florida also.
Yep.
And trust me, timing is everything. We just looking for, I hope people are calling lawyers. That's what I'm saying. I hope people are calling lawyers, not just in the state of Florida, because in the state of Florida, I've called many, many lawyers. Nobody's willing to take any case from us. We have to try other cases. So make sure you call other cases. Let them know what the state of Florida allow this company to do, and they're making us pay to it makes no sense. It makes no sense. We have to get justice. I'm telling you. God picked out the passion one about their passion to make sure we fight this in the right way. I never say, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're not going to do nothing. But we're going to fight the right fight. Because the state of Florida allowed One Fat Frog to steal from us and to come on a national TV and say
he a victim too.
He's a victim too. What a freaking slap in the face. It's just like I would not even have crazy. You know, when you think you've heard it all, like when I see that video, it just makes, I hope they go deeper, because this is not just Connie. And you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, Connie didn't do this shit by herself. It took a lot more than just Connie. Everybody will start throwing her on the bus now. Just watch.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead and start closing up, tying things in. Our next live will be next Monday, same time. I will post a link when I actually create it. I'll post a link in the Facebook, both of the Facebook groups. And then next Monday, we're going to talk about all of the staff. So Pat, Connie, Mario, Miss Mabel, Eduardo, Frank, and
don't forget Julio.
Julio, you write that down.
Julio is the big one.
And I mean, so we're going to talk about those people. I know my salesperson was Mario, and I'll talk about my experience with him. He did have an assistant, Rebecca, but I don't think Rebecca, I'll talk about that next week. But to me, I just think his assistant was a little more every time I talked to her, it was a little bit different versus with him. I think she was a little more real. She came in after the fact. And I'm not saying she didn't know what was going on, but I think with her, I think when she came in, it was like in the midst of it. And I don't know, but
They were
we
actors
will-
for sure. Sorry.
but we will talk about Juan. Okay. So let me write that down too. And guys, make sure while you're watching this, give this a thumbs up so it can get out into the YouTube algorithm so more people can watch. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the staff next Monday. And okay.
Now we're starting to
see, it was a lot of people quitting when stuff started hitting the fan. Okay. All right. So as we go ahead and because I'm on a time constraint for tonight, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Go ahead and Moran, say last words, and you have until 9:59. Yeah.
My last word would be for the victims to stay strong. Please speak up, speak up, speak up. Because we could do this. I mean, you and I could do this. We'll talk about it. We'll get, we'll keep talking about it. But there's power in number. There's power in number. Keep your faith, because this has destroyed me completely, and I know what it's doing to you and your family. I'm not just affected. My kids are affected by this. So I just want to make sure people just stay strong. Just stay strong. Justice always will prevail. That's all I want to say.
I agree. I think when more people start speaking up and sharing their stories, then it can, get more traction where more people will start listening and saying, hey, well, that was me. I was in that situation, but I was threatened by one fat frog, and now I'm not scared anymore. You have to step up and say, I'm not scared anymore. I'm not going to let their threats, have me to not speak up, silence me. Don't allow their threats to silence you, because that's what they're doing. Stop giving them that power. Take your power back. That's all I can say. Take your power back. And I wasn't threatened, but I wish they would have came to me, because I would have been like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't play that, but that's just me. So anyway, all I can say is, even though I'm in this situation, my heart really goes out to the people who, such as Moran and Timmy and Brett and everyone else, Iris, who paid cash for the ones who paid cash money of whether it was 5,000, 10,000, 30, 40, 50, 60,000. My heart really goes out to you, because on cash, even though you have an invoice, it's no paper trail. It's a paper trail on the invoice they gave you, but it's no, you know what I'm saying? It's no credit card paper trail, Cash is gone. And every time I think about it, I cry inside, because I'm like, yeah, mine was just 13,000. but it was tied in finance, you know, with ClickLease. But I did pay the 5,000, well, 4,000. They stole my generator, so that was 1,000. So that's why it's 5,000. But I did pay $4,000 deposit, but it was credit card. So I have that paper trail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and close. Please, 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 please. If you know someone that purchased a food truck, food trailer with One Fat Frog, and they now are purchasing with Phoenix food trucks and trailers, tell them to stop their payments or whatever, get their money back. Don't pay no more, because they're going to do the same thing to you like they did to us. Same people, different company name. They're the same people. Phoenix food trucks and trailers. Don't you buy from them? It's the same people. And they probably have some of the same staff members transferred over there. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to be on it. You're going to come back over here and be like, Miko, you said don't do it. And here you go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for that in the Facebook group. I will drop that link in a couple of days. And I'll see you back Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, on a replay, please share this video. Share all the videos that we've done so far. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.